As Americans celebrated the 230th anniversary of the signing of the U.S. Constitution this week, Hillary Clinton offering a very different message.
The right wing, aided and funded by Mercer's, Koch brothers, etc., is very serious about calling a constitutional convention. Part of their gerrymandering is to control state legislatures, elect Republican governors. If you really get deep into what they are advocating, limits on the First Amendment, no limits on the Second Amendment, limits on criminal justice. I mean, there is a very insidious right-wing agenda that is hard for Americans to really kind of wrap our heads around.
So in between making excuses about why she lost, Hillary Clinton talking about a new threat, and it's our Constitution in Article 5. Well, Mark Meckler is the president for Citizens for Self-Governance and founder of the Convention of States Project. He joins us now to react. Hillary Clinton is talking about you and your organization. What are you up to?
You know, so the Convention of States Project, what we're up to is using the Constitution to restore the Constitution. Article 5 gives the citizens and their state legislatures the power to call a convention to restrain the federal government. Hillary Clinton obviously does not like the idea of restraining the federal government and restoring the original view of the Constitution.
Hold on. I mean, you look like a nice guy to me, but are you one of these evilly funded right? I mean, the portrayal is, because she's not the only one. The left has overwhelmingly come out and said, look out for this convention of states. They're trying to take over our country. You're saying it's taking back our country by putting limits back on what our government can do.
Well, you know, you can judge a person by their enemies, and so we're glad to have all these folks on the left coming out against Convention of States. What they don't like about it is the intent is literally to reverse 115 years of crazy liberal progressivism. And we have that right in the Constitution.
The document was signed on September 17th, 230 years ago, but something happened on September 15th that made this possible.
September 15th, Colonel George Mason addresses the Assembly. He says we have a problem. We gave the power to Congress to propose amendments, but not to the people acting through the states. And he asked a question, Pete. He said, are we so naive that we believe that a government that becomes a tyranny will propose amendments to restrain its own tyranny? And obviously they said no. They included this provision of Article 5 so that you and I have the right to restrain the federal government.
And that's where are you now inside the project? How many state legislatures have passed this?
Over 2.2 million people in support of this. 12 state legislatures have passed it. It takes 34, so we're past the one-third mark. We're actually going to get it done. We're well on our way to holding the first ever Article 5.
Because a lot of people think abstractly, no way, this can't happen. You know, it's just a theory. You're saying the work is being done across this country to get to that 34-state threshold, and whether Washington wants it or not, the people hold a convention to limit the powers of the federal government.
That's correct, and Washington doesn't and won't want it. And this is not some kind of a fringe movement. Mark Levin supports the movement. Senator Tom Coburn left the Senate to work with the project. Senator Jim DeMint is now on board with the project. So this is a mainstream conservative project to restore the Constitution.
If folks want to learn more about it, where do they go?
Conventionofstates.com, not just to learn, but get involved, because it's up to the folks to save the country.
You actually did a virtual convention as well last year.
Last year in Williamsburg, historic Williamsburg, Virginia, we held a virtual convention. Delegates from all 50 states came together, held a convention, showed that it's not going to run away, that we're going to restore the Constitution.
Mark, if Hillary Clinton thinks you're a threat, then I think you're a good guy to me.
Thank you, sir.
A very interesting project. We'll be tracking your progress. Hope you'll come back and keep us posted.
Absolutely. Thanks, Pete.